Good afternoon, everyone. It's Susan here, and I'm going to be working with some of the foils creating cards. Now, I've planned four. I haven't done all of them. I just planned four. And I thought, you know what? Instead of doing them on my own and then say, look what I've done, I'm going to record to show you how I was thinking of making these cards. So, for the first ones, these come from scraps, from pieces of foils that I do when I do my videos, so things that I'm left with. So I did this piece of foil on light blue Centura Pearl by Crafter's Companion. I'm not affiliated with anyone, so I'm just mentioning if I remember who it was, then I will tell you. And I did some waste foiling on it, and I like what turned out to be. Then I found another piece of card that looks the same sort of bluey color. And I thought I could put these two together to make a card out of it. So to start with, I brought my card 5x7 and I was going to place that on and cut this smaller to be layered on. And I thought, nah, that's a little bit boring. So what I did, I took some dies out. So the first one is this beautiful die that cuts a scalloped edge and then does well, actually, this cuts a frame. I can see it. So this is going to cut me a frame because it's got double edge, but it will do the points in it, which will be good in a way because I can then use that piece of scrap again if I wanted to. So that's not a problem for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some, let's see where I'm always losing them on my desk, especially when I'm doing a lot of stuff and I've got loads of things here. Let's have a look. I can easily cut another bit if needs be. I want some of this stuff. I love this stuff. I think it will last for a long time, unless I keep losing it the way I'm losing it at the moment. I'm going to go like so, cut a bit of it. Only need a little bit. Let's put it there. Cut a bit like so. And you can keep using it. I tend to put it on the side of my monitor or something like that. So I have it and I'll find it. So I'm going to place it there. And I'm quickly going to pass it. I'll pass it in my die cutting machine in a second. So then I found another one, but this one will cut straight line on the outside, does all the stitching, but it won't cut a frame. It will keep the circle. So I'm going to do a circle from this part of my foiled piece. You see what I've got in my head at the moment, okay? So I'm going to do a piece of that plastic again. I'll place it somewhere on there. That should keep it in place. What I'm also going to do is turn thanks down, and I'm going to place it on here because I want to cut thanks out of where the blue bit is to match. Okay? So I'm going to cut it from there, and then afterwards I'll cut another one from what's left from the light blue background. So from two pieces of paper, I'm doing a lot of cutting. So let's have a look. That goes there, okay? And now I'm going to put them on my platform, like so. I could put all of them at once, I think. Yes, I can. I'm going to cut those straight through, okay? And what I'm going to do is cover them with my bit, like so. And I'm going to turn around. I'll tell you what, let me bring it so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to place it in there. And I'm going to cut it straight off. Now, I've told you many a times, if you watched any of my other videos, if it goes wrong, it's only a piece of scrap. So don't be afraid to go out and do it. Now here, look, it didn't cut it completely. So I'm going to place it there. Okay, and I'm going to place that there. And I'm just going to pass the first bit only, where it needs to cut. And if I cut it right, that's fine. If not, I'll find another piece of blue card And it looks like it might have done it okay. I don't know yet. Let's see. Oh yes, I've got my frame and I've got that design there. So that's one. This one I've cut it, so that's going to go straight in the middle of the two, something like that. I might cut another circle, I don't know. But you know what? I think that will do nicely. Let's have a look at that bit. I can put it in the middle of this one, like so, and then I'll put that one on top, like so. So that's going to be for the top part of my card. I can even put some flowers on or something like that. That's my first one. Now, I've got my thanks. So that's the bit there, which I can use as a background for some other color. This thanks here, I've got a bit that didn't actually cut through. So, for that reason, I'm just going to put it there. Make sure these are all in place, because if you don't put them in place, they might move. And I'm just going to pass it through once more. That's my problem, because I've passed them all at once to try to get them quickly done. But you know what? Sometimes more speed, less haste, or whatever they say. I'm going to take that out, and that's what thanks cut nicely. And let's get the die off. It's done. That's what I'm going to have left from that piece of scrap that I first went and foiled. It was a piece of scrap. I foiled it, became a nice piece of scrap that I could use on my card. Now I'm going to take those pieces out. I don't need them. Don't need that bit. And then I'm going to get thanks out. And it's out, and there you go. I've got a beautiful thanks. Now I need that to be on a white piece of card, right? So let's, or a blue piece of card. I could do it on here. If I place that on there, let's do it that way. I need the full background, not the die. I'm not interested in the die. This time I need the background. So I'm going to pass it through, and I'll be with you in a second. That's done. And here we go. Just cut it. I'm not interested in this piece is now truly rubbish, so that can be, it's not scrap anymore, it became rubbish. This will be on there. Okay, now to be honest with you, I'm not happy with this circle. I just don't like how it came out. I'm happier with these two pieces. So look what I'm going to do. Got a bit here which seems to have cut wrongly, look. And I don't like things like that. So first thing I'm going to do is see if I've got another piece of that lovely blue. If not, don't worry, because I can find something different to do. And here you go. Look, I found a bit, which is the same color. It's only a frame. So I'm going to cut it from this one again. Put it on. What I'm going to do as well to make sure it does cut through properly, I'm going to use some shim. These are to be thrown away because I've got loads and I keep using. I'm going to get another piece. Let's see where my book went. I'm not used to working with a lot of rubbish on my desk. That's one thing I know for sure. But then I can't find what I want. Here it is. So I've got these books. Sorry if anybody is an Arsenal fan, but I bought these books. I had loads of them. And what I wanted to do with them was to sell them. But nobody at the time, and I had them for years and years now, nobody wanted to buy them. So I was going to throw them away. And then I thought, hang on a minute. They are all really nice, shiny, thick card. So if I place it like that, that makes a really nice shim. And that's what happened. It became a nice shim for me. I'm going to pass it through. I'm only going to pass it once. because it's got that chin, I'm sure it will cut first time round now. And it has, look, it's gone through the paper, and there you go. If it's cut through that, it would have cut through the blue one. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take that off. And let's see what, you know what I've got? Silly girl, I've got the one that's the same size as that one. You see? And I've got that instead. I'm going to put the other one on again. It's the big one I needed. Let's see if I can get a big one from here. Should do. That goes there, look. Oh, you know what? The exact width as well. So let's put that on. And I'm going to put another piece on the other side, only because I don't want it to move, because it's right on the edge. But it should be all right. So I'm going to place it on here again. Put it there. And I'm going to cut it. Let's just get that there. So you see it go through. Oh, that's been done. I'm going to check it. And you know what? There's my frame, look, and it came absolutely perfect. Now I've got a perfect frame. Now I'm happy. I don't like things if I know they are not quite how they should be. Now these cards, these are what I call simple cards made with scrap. And the reason I say that is these are the ones I do from whatever it is that I've got, pieces that I've got left, and I would never ever give them like birthday cards or something. So I don't do cards like that. I do the more complex cards for family and friends. However, I have the perfect thing for using these. I do go out and about, and when I do, it's not the first time. I used to meet people that do something maybe to help me out with whatever it is. And it started becoming like, you know what? If somebody helps me out, why not give them a thank you card? It makes their day. So what I've done, what I started doing, is set up a thank you card. I'm going to place that there. So I'll stick the frame first. Then I'll stick this beautiful piece of foiled card in the center there. Then we're going to have the same color, thanks, at the bottom. So it's nice, simple card, but quite an effective little card. What I'll also do is find a couple of maybe flowers and put a flower or two like decoupaged on. So next step is I need to make this stick on there. So I'm going to do a little bit of gluing. And once I glue that on, I'll do a bit of 3D decoupage as well. So give us a second and you'll see how I'm going to deal with that. Now, that's very fine and very narrow. I should really use, I've got another one that has really fine tips. But you know what? I'm going to just go around like so. I'm going to use my finger to go over, moving it to the side. What's nice about this glue, this is Collal glue. I use it so much by the gallon. And it's such a good glue. I love it because when it's dry, look, you go like so, if it goes on your hand and it just finish. It doesn't stick, it's not dirty, it's a really nice glue. So even after you glue something on, you could go easily with your rubber and any glue that seeps out can easily be taken off. So that's quite a nice little glue. Look, see, I've got some glue here. I'll just go a bit like that, but I've got a proper rubber for it. But it will take all that glue off, especially after it dries. Now, I'm going to take that, I'm going to decide how I want my flower positioned, and I'm going to put some of this glue again. And sometimes the reason I like this glue is it gives you that little bit of forgiveness. So if you put it in and you want to make sure it goes in the center, you can still just ease it around to place it in the center of the frame I've got. And there you go. That's now been stuck. Now it's my thanks. So I'm going to put the thanks first. I'm just going to glue it on like so. I'm going to place it somewhere in the center like so. It looks like straight in my eyes. And you know what? If somebody measured it, I mean, that looks straight to me. Let me see if my eyesight is still okay. And that's perfect. Now, if it wasn't perfectly straight, sometimes I do them at an angle. I always say to my husband, and he goes, oh, it's not straight. I say, well, you know what? That's handmade. It's not machine made in China. It's a handmade card. And people need to understand that when you're doing it, if people realize the time it takes to do something and how much it costs to make something, I mean, yes, I'm using scraps here and foiled pieces I made, but you know what? To make them, I had to spend a lot of money on different machines and different die cutting machines. So if you think about it, although it's homemade, it doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. So those of you listening, if anybody says it's cheap because it's homemade, no way, Jose. Right, if anything, if you go to work and you charge 30, 50 pounds an hour, right? And the card takes you 2 hours, you're not going to charge them the time, really, honestly speaking, because nobody would ever buy a card. But you know what? It's the fun you get out of it. It's the enjoyment you get out of it. Look at that card there. Let's see if I've got another bluey one. Yes, we have. Let's see if I've got a different size color blue. These were all cut, look, die cut and then embossed, and they make such lovely cards, such lovely flowers. I'm just having a look to see if I've got any smaller blue ones. I've got another one. It's the same color. And I usually like to have 3 when I put flowers on. I'm going to have 1 at the top and 2 down on this side. And that's going to be my thanks card to give to someone the next time I go to an appointment. I'll be given a gift or whatever it is. I might decide they require to have one. Okay, I've got some leaves. Don't know whether I should put a leaf or 2 in. Let me see. How they look. If they look right, we'll leave them. If they don't look right, we'll just get rid of them. That goes there. And that can go somewhere there. And you know what? It gives it a different perspective. I'm going to leave them. I'm going to stick them on. So let's try sticking these on. Now, these 2 leaves, I can see they've got a little bit of like, they're not what I say look perfect. So what I'm going to do is get a green marker. Let's see the first green marker I can pick up. Let's see how it would look if it's not nice. And what I tend to do, it's where the white paper comes through. So I just go through it with a little bit of a marker, and that will highlight wherever it was a bit white, that will sort it out. You see? These are Pro markers I'm using. I love Pro Markers for all sorts of different reasons, especially when you are coloring and you are using blending. I think they are lovely, but sometimes they could come in handy. So if you cut any, and it's either because of what you printed. Sometimes when you print with laser printer, like I would have done these, if the paper was not laser paper, that thing could happen. You'll get that white fragment on your design. So what I do is I just go with the green, just pass where the white is, and you know what? It's so unobvious when you finish with it. Nobody would be none the wiser. Got another thing I'm going to teach you in here because sometimes you get underfoiling. Now, if you don't want to waste, because you like what happens, but you've got a couple of places where it's underfoiled, I'm going to show you. I might do it the next card actually, because I've prepared this ready. I'll show you what to do. There it goes. So I've got two pieces of nice now leaves, and I'm going to bring in a couple of double-sided foam pads. I've got some outside here as well. Now, if they're big and wide, take a scissors. Don't use the scissors you use for foiling. Use a different scissors for this. You don't want to mark your foiling scissors with glue. So I have some here. Look, let's bring them. I use these for everything. I mean, you can see them. I don't have to wash them because it's got glue on them. And that's why I don't use the foil scissors to do these kind of cuts. Okay? So you know. So what I'm going to do is get these pieces on. I'm going to place them on top of my, at the bottom, sorry, of my leaf. And I'm going to place my leaves first, wherever they got to go. I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. Let's do them coming this way. 1, 2, 3. And then I'll do the other one. Where is my tape again? I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 is the third one. That's going to go that way, like so. Now here I'm going to put only one flower. So I might put something like so. Let's get a piece of double-sided to go on it. Let's clean it out. And then that's going to go somewhere here. And this one, I'm going to do it just about somewhere there, or somewhere like so. Okay. Let's do this flat so it won't be all one on top of the other and they have to go double tailed. to get the height. I'm going to do that one just about underneath there, like so. Now that's a lovely card, made simple with just some pieces of scraps. One piece was foiled. I did it in one of the videos yesterday, and that turning it into a lovely little card. It only needs the insert. Now, another thing I've done was this. I had this piece. Now, I don't know if you actually remember this piece, and it had some underfoiling. And I did not want to miss out using it. So I saw it and I thought, you know what? Oh, that's a lovely little bee. Look at that. I'm going to put it back with the leaves. Right. So I thought, I don't want to lose this piece. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of foil, the same color. I've already done this because it had to be left to dry. Just finished my tea because I had it there for ages. Right. I've put some glue. I drew over where it's not completely covered. And then I'm going to go with these and I'm going to go over it and see whether I can salvage it without, instead of leaving it without. I might need to leave it a little bit longer. It might not have dried. It hasn't completely dried. It did some, but it didn't do as much as I would have liked it to. What I might do is do a couple more cards, and then I'll come back because that glue needs to dry. And because this is on photo paper, it takes a little bit longer. So I'll do that as the last one, and we'll see how I'm going to sort it. I had another card that I set aside to make. Now, let's see what we had with this one. All right, I remember. I've got two pieces of white card. I've got that, and I got this one. Now, first thing I'm going to do with this one is I've had a think about it, and I thought, you know what, if I firstly cut them both the same width. So, I'm going to take I'm going to check what size this is. So I'm going to do it at this end. So I'm going to do it on the same line there. So I'm going to go there and there. And I'm going to cut a little bit, just a bit of that. And then this one, I'm going to go the same width, which is just about 3 3/4. And I'm going to do the same there. I'm going to do it 3 3/4 there. And then I'm going to make it sure that it is straight, because it's not. And I'm going to make sure it's straight on the other side. I don't mind the size because I'm going to cut it. Now this one, I'm going to cut a piece from there. Okay. And I'm going to place it so that on a DL card, because they're narrow. So on a DL card, I'm going to have a piece up here, like so. Okay. And then I'm going to have a little bit of space and the piece down here below. Okay. And then I'm going to put thanks somewhere over there. This will be a lovely, easy little card again. It's got gold because that's with gold. If you don't like this being so, how do I say? So, I could have done that, but that's got no foil on it. If you don't like it because it's so plain, what you could do is just pass it through an embossing folder. Let's do a bit out of an embossing folder. Now let's have an embossing folder. I got this, look, with the same leaves like those, or very similar. What I'm going to do is put that inside there. like so. Make sure it's straight, and I'm just quickly going to pass it through my embossing machine. So let's do that first. Let's take one piece off there, one or two, because it will go through easily. I'm gonna pass it through. I'll give it to you just a second. All I did was change my sandwich on my Big Shot, and I went through it, and it came perfect. By the looks of it, you'll soon find out. So I took a couple of plates out to give it the width for my embossing folder. And this went straight through, and I could feel it. So I think, look at how beautiful that turned out. Now, what I'm going to do with that is very simple. I'm going to cut a bit, leaving enough for my thanks. So I'll put the thanks there, right? And that's going to go there. So I'm going to cut it somewhere along this line. So if I do a little mark on my pen, a little bit upwards of where the bottom is, I can easily cut it. That bit can be used somewhere else. Let's do it there. No, there. There. That'll do nicely. I'm going to cut it there. That can be used somewhere else. This one will make this lovely little card. If you wanted thanks at the top, you can have that at the top there. Thanks, and this at the bottom. But personally, I like it better that way. So I'm going to stick it on. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue it on, like so. And I'm going to put it so that I've got the same width on either side. So something like so. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it parallel with it, but leaving the same amount on this side. Go somewhere like so. I'm going to just glue it as well. I'll soon need to refill my glue because I use so much of it. I'm going to do my glue and I'm going to place it somewhere right about there, which looks like a good position for me. And now all I need to do is take my thanks and stick it on there. Now, yes, you might want to put it in the center. Thanks. You might want to put it on the side. I haven't decided where I like it best. I think on this side, I prefer it personally, but it's a matter of choice. I'm only giving you ideas of how you can go about using the pieces of scrub that you foil when you're testing it. Because you know what? I've got a lot of friends that they're enjoying doing all the foiling, like with me sometimes. But then what happens is, unfortunately, they say, "Oh, I haven't used them yet." But if you don't use them, it's not going to give you the opportunity or the want to do more because you're going, "What am I going to do with all these foilings now?" So it's a good idea to just set it up and place it as a card. It's a thank you card. Again, thanks. And write a message inside. And when I need to give a thank you card to someone, there you go. So they can be plain and you give them to whoever needs them. Now, I have another one for you. I've already put all the pieces cut them together because I thought I don't want you to keep all the time waiting for me to finish. I think I've got them all. What I've decided to do is this. Right, I had this lovely piece. It was a mirror card that I foiled with silver and let it up like a type of a, what do you call, tartan sort of lines there. Then I wanted some color and I found these pieces of card. And I thought, you know what, I could use those. Then from the same pieces, I cut one of my thanks. I've got thanks that will be stuck on thanks there. And I've got two corners that I did. But then I thought, well, corners on this is not going to show. So what I've decided to do was this. I'm going to cut this halfway through. So let's start with that one. I didn't do it because I thought I'll show you how I cut a square from a piece of scrap. In fact, look, there's writing behind it. I'm going to mark it from one corner to the other corner like so. Holding it in place, I'm going to go like so, and I've got two pieces cut. Now that I've got them, I'm going to start building up my design here. So I'm going to do one up at the top. Oh, actually, no, I remembered earlier. I was going to do it. One up there and one to continue the line down here. Okay? And I've already marked where I would like to cut so that it will give me a little bit of a border around. So I'm going to put them together because I want the same size. And again, I'm going to cut them a little bit in the width of that cut. There it goes. A little bit narrower. Now, I was thinking, shall I have it at the top and one at the bottom? Like that? Or shall I have them together and then have things down at the bottom? I think I'm going to do it this way. So they're going to get stuck somewhere there. This is going to get stuck on top of them like so. Okay. And because it doesn't carry on all the way through, I might actually cut it a little bit shorter and have it a little bit further down. We'll see. Then I'm going to do this. Now, it's either corners, and we put those on, look. And a corner down the other end, and we put the other bit on, like that. That's why it will take some of the, we'll get the design out, right? Either that, this is what I've got in my head at the moment. I've got another image in my head. So, and then you'll have like thanks somewhere like so. So that could be a card, look. Something like that. That could make a lovely card. But there's another way. If I turn that like so, stick it there like that. Of course, it will be all straight when I do it. Just give me the idea at the moment. And then I could have that bit there like that. Okay. And stuck there. And then I could have thanks right in the middle like so. And I think that looks absolutely gorgeous for a card of this kind. So what I'm going to do is cut a little bit. I'm going to cut this a little bit straighter. So let's see what I can do. It doesn't need to be as big as it is because it will get some of the design through. Now, if I cut along the lines, because it's a little bit at a skew, would they see it? Not really. So I might just cut to where the lines end. Because you don't want some without the line. It doesn't look right. This was what we call this foiling was, how do I call it? From the waist. That's why I ended up with no lines at the bottom. There you go. It's now been sorted. So let's start sticking because I've got in my head how I want it, and I can only do it if I do it, stick it on and get it in place. So let's start there. A little bit of glue there. And I'm going to stick it to the top there. Not right to the top, leaving a little bit of a border all the way around. And I'm going to go and do the other one. Remember, these were scrap pieces from a 12 by 12. You know, when we cut on Scan and Cut, we're left with pieces, and then I go and cut them more or less the same width or size, try to get what I can out of them, what's left. That's what we've got. Now, I'm going to take this bit, and again, this needs to be placed somewhere in the middle of my card. I'm going to put it on somewhere like so, and like so. If you want, you can put it down a little. There you go. That would be something like so. Right, it's gone stuck there. Sometimes if I want to really stick down, because it's thicker at the edges, I just put it in my die cutting machine, go through on the machine, and it will stick it all on. Just goes through once, and that will stick it all on, I say. I say that because it didn't want to come off my plate. It came straight flat, but it came off the plate. That didn't stick to it, so I've got to put it on down again. Need to wait for it to stick down. Never mind. I might take it off because it's not wanting to, it's thick and it doesn't want to stay down. If that will continue, what I will do is put a bit of double-sided tape underneath. Now, let's see how I'm gonna do some double-sided red tape. It doesn't want to stick there, or some of this. And it doesn't want to go, we make it go. That's going to go there and there. Any glue that might have seeped out, don't worry, because I've got one of those magic, they look like bee waxing. I don't know what you call them. It's like an eraser, glue eraser, and they work perfect. Now, I'm going to take this. I'm going to see how I want to do it. Like that. And like that. Let's see. And then we can have things in the middle. That's another way. Look, see, when you're doing things like that, let those things there. Or you can have it like so. And like so. What do I like best? I quite like it this way, so I'm going to do it this way. It's going to be straight there. That's going to be straight there. Let's just stick these on. That goes there. Make sure it's more or less centered. And there you go. I'm going to do the other one. That's going to go straight down here. And it's more or less centered. They're going to go on there. Okay. Now I'm going to stick this on. In the middle. like that. This is going to be stuck on. There. Right? And then I'm going to do one of these. The glue on this. I'm going to do that one there. And one going down the other way. Now these are for any beginner crafter, beginner card maker, anybody like using scraps, anyone who knows how to make really nice cards, but end up with scraps and they never do anything with the scraps. So sometimes it's even fun to sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to do some scrap building, whatever. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, let me think. But that I'll clean it a little bit from the glue afterwards when it sort of dries. So that's going to be my next card done. I need to wait for it to dry a little because it was thick on card. It's quite thick mirror card, and that's why I didn't want to stay put. But there you go. It's another card. It's not anything special, but it's still quite a nice thing. And to give it to someone who's, let's move it a little, let's move it back. If you give it to someone who doesn't even know you, who's not expecting a thank you card, just because they helped you in some way, that is quite a lovely card to give them. They'll be very pleased with it. So far, we did these three lovely cards made from scraps. And you know what? That was such an easy one to do. Right, so let's have a look and see what we're going to do next. Those are my three there. This one, I don't know whether it's ready to be done, but I'm going to try. I'm going to do that, go over all the pieces. I think it needs a little bit more to dry. I might do it tomorrow in one of the other cards, because what I did, I put some glue on around, and I'm going to go through so that it will become all sticky. But I think I really need to give it longer than I usually do, because the stickiness will, it's on a photo paper and I don't think it has dried well enough to do it. So I might leave that one for the next video or tomorrow's video. For today, I'm going to stop this one here. I might come back, everyone, with some more ideas of how to get, because I've got still have, look how many pieces I've got. What I don't want is to keep you here for such a long time. So what I'll do, prepare a couple more cards, and then I'll come and do another video. So they'll be a little bit shorter than if I carried on from one into the other. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like, please do leave me a thumbs up. And till the next time, bye-bye for now.